Good night, stranger. Thank you for visiting me in my witch's den. I am glad that you are here. It is already getting quite late, and you mustn't continue your journey out in the dark of the forest. Instead, accept my invitation and spend a restful night in my den until morning. I am Titania, and tonight I will welcome you into my forest to spend the summer solstice with me. I will guide you through the longest day of the year and show you some rituals that originated in Europe to celebrate the summer solstice. This episode is released in 2026, so the summer solstice is on June 21st in the Northern Hemisphere, and if you are listening on the day it comes out, you will be listening right on the summer solstice. But a lot of these rituals and customs are celebrated for several days, for example until St. John's Day on the 24th. Today we are really going to celebrate the arrival of summer together. There's already another episode where you can visit me in my witch's den on a rainy night. I will link it in the show notes below or in the info card. If you have any requests or ideas for future episodes, don't forget to write them in the comments. I love taking your suggestions into account. But before we start, make sure you are all set for sleep. If you still have the device you are listening on in your hand, set a sleep timer if you need one, or turn off autoplay if you are on YouTube. Let me know your intention for a recreative night of sleep in the comments. You could write, "I will fall asleep easily," to claim the peaceful energy of rest for yourself. And without further ado, let's start. Now, you may find a comfortable position to lie down and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. I want you to think of 3 things you were grateful for today. Maybe the sun was shining. Maybe you saw something that inspired you. Maybe you had a personal success. Allow yourself to be grateful for the small things. Concentrate on your breath again. Every time you inhale and exhale, feel the airflow under your nose. If there are thoughts coming up, look at them like you would look at a cloud in the sky and watch them pass by. With every exhale, your body relaxes deeper. Your feet become heavy. Your legs become heavy. Your shoulders become heavy. Your arms become heavy. Your hands become heavy. And your head becomes heavy. I'm now going to count down from 5, and when I reach 1, you will be completely present in tonight's story. 5. You are totally safe and relaxed where you are in this moment in time. 4. A warm and cozy light spreads from your heart throughout your body, its golden glow filling you with a feeling of love and solace. 3. You let go of everything that is still binding you to today. 2. My voice is leading you through the light and beyond. You can now feel warm sunlight on your skin. 1. You blink your eyes rapidly, squinting into the sun that is far up in the sky. The air is still but fragrant, and you can hear the buzzing of insects and the occasional call of a cuckoo mixing with the twitter of other birds. You stand on the edge of a clearing, green broad leaves and conifers rising behind you and filtering the light that hits the wild meadow before you mercilessly. A few meters to the right, a movement catches the corner of your eye, and you turn to see a woman in the half-shade of the forest. Her flowy yellow dress bunching up where she kneels, staring at the ground, her red wavy hair so long it almost reaches the floor in this position. A light straw hat with a broad brim conceals her face, before she suddenly turns her head and spots you. "There you are," she calls out, waving a small pale hand in your direction, and a golden ring on her finger flashes in the sun. She stands up awkwardly, smoothing her dress with her palms. "You're just in time." She hurries over to you, brown eyes kind and attentive, and extends her right hand for you to shake. "I'm Titania," she introduces herself. "What's your name?" She repeats your name back to you once you have said it, and you notice little golden earrings in the shape of suns as she talks. Her ring also has a sun on it, and so does the tiny golden tarot card dangling from her necklace. "It's noon," she says, pointing to the sky, "so this is a perfect time to collect some herbs on the summer solstice, when the solar energy is strongest. This," she gestures towards an herb growing at the edge of the meadow, right to your feet with bright yellow blossoms, "is St. John's wort. Go ahead and pick some while I get my basket." You kneel down and rip out a few plants, not too much to not harm the vegetation. Titania places a woven basket next to you and you drop the St. John's wort into it. Then she pulls you into the meadow that is covered in wild vegetation, leading you to another herb blooming yellow. This one grows tall above the ground, little round heads standing out like a yellow bouquet. "Tansy," Titania explains. "You can pick it. This and the St. John's wort are not for the kitchen, though. Be careful, it can be poisonous." While you collect some of the plants, Titania walks over to an herb with wide flat-topped clusters of flower heads, not as tall as the tansy, but still nowhere close to the ground. She rips out a few stems and says, "Yarrow is a healing plant, though. It's toxic to some animals, and you shouldn't consume it in large amounts, but you shouldn't do that with most things." She shrugs and puts everything into the basket. Slinging its handle over her arm, she continues, "That's 3 down. We need to collect at least 7 herbs, so we have a powerful number for our bundle. But the other stuff doesn't grow in this meadow. Let's go." She walks toward a footpath that allows entrance into the forest, her robe rustling when it brushes the surrounding fauna, and you follow her quietly. Trudging along the trail, you make your way through the shrubbery until you reach a bush with vibrant purple flowers and 5 petals each. With careful hands, she breaks off some of the flowers. "They're pretty," you say. "Which plant is that?" "A common mallow," she tells you, adding the plant to the basket. "They're used against inflammation. Now we have to go a bit further, because the herbs we are looking for now grow in the different kind of terrain." On your way, the trees shade you from the midday sun, only single rays reaching you through the foliage from time to time. You feel serene following Titania like this, not having to think about anything at all. Finally, you reach the margins of the forest, where the land is barren and uncultivated. See the white flowers with yellow anthodiums in the middle? That's chamomile. Can you get it for me? I will go over there and pick some mugwort, she says, pointing to the right. You go to harvest the chamomile. Its sweet, yet earthy smell reaching your nose immediately. Once you turn back with a small bouquet of chamomile in your hand, You see Titania approaching you with a bundle made from an herb with white-grey fluorescence. Good, Titania says. Now we are only missing rose and thyme, but I grow them close to my den, so we can pick them there. She leads you back to the trees, this time along a different path that curves to the left. And you once again get the chance to take in all the different blooming plants sprouting in the forest, their sweet fragrance hanging in the fresh air, and bees and other insects flying from flower to flower. When the trees thin out again, there in the middle of the forest lies an open entrance to a cave, rugged rock opening like a dark mouth. To the left of the entrance stands a handful of flower bushes, and to the right beds with variations of herbs. A little round table with 2 garden chairs sits neatly before red and yellow roses. You can cut off a flower head of the red roses. Titania hands you a little clipper that you don't know where she produced it from, and you choose a beautiful large rose to cut, its petals feeling soft in your hands. Here, Titania calls out, holding out a bundle of thyme stems to you. Smell it. You approach her and rub your fingers against the leaves and breathe in the intense aroma. Now we have everything we need, Titania says happily. Let's go inside for a bit, and then we can take a break. It's cool and dark in the cave, and your eyes have to adjust before you can see anything. The entrance looks like a rocky tunnel, and you spot blankets and pillows on the floor. To the back of the rocky wall is a rounded wooden door that Titania opens to reveal a cozy, dim living room. As she takes off her shoes and leaves them by the door, you do the same. Immediately on your right is a big bed, and behind that a workbench and a shelf with an abundance of jars, above which bunches of dried herbs hang from the ceiling. Titania goes straight to the workbench, where she places her basket, and you follow her, stepping onto the parquet floor of the living room and then the stone tiles that line the kitchen area. Can I help you? You ask as Titania arranges the herbs you collected into a bundle. You can prepare this tray over there for a little refreshment, she says, pointing to a big wooden tray engraved with symbols along the edge. Put 2 plates and pastry forks on it, and then cut each of us a piece of a strawberry cake, Titania asks, cutting off a piece of organic string from a spool. You walk around the workbench and take 2 golden plates and forks out of the shelf and place them on the tabletop next to an ornate golden cake stand with a massive foot. On it sits a creamy cake decorated with strawberries that is already half eaten. Grabbing the knife and the pie server lying on the cake stand, you carefully cut 2 generous pieces off. The cake looks delicious after all. After you put both plates on the tray, Titania, who is almost done tying the string around her herbs, glances over to you and says, "Perfect. Can you also get 2 glasses and fill them with lemonade over there? In the bottle on the shelf." "Sure," you say, grabbing 2 glasses and the glass bottle that is filled with a clear liquid that has a yellowish tint, and pour a drink for each of you. "Thank you," Titania smiles as she puts the completed bundle back into the basket and straightens her hat. "I'll quickly grab a tarot deck. No better time for some divination than a day like this," she continues, making her way over to one of the bookshelves lining the walls of the den. She rises on her tiptoes to grab a green velvet sachet from one of the higher boards. "Come on," she encourages once she is back next to you, dropping the tarot deck on the tray. She picks everything up, the dishes clinking softly, so you hold the door open for her while she balances the tray. Back outside, you breathe in the fresh air and drop onto one of the folding chairs that is surprisingly comfortable. Since the sun is not at its zenith anymore, the adjacent trees shade the mount of the cave and ensure a pleasant temperature as you are shielded from the summer sun, but can still feel its warmth. In a careful motion, Titania sets the tray down on the table and hands you one of the plates along with a fork. "Tell me how you like it," Titania says, grabbing her own plate. "I infused the cream with elderflower." Taking a bite, you taste the strawberries and saccharine elderflower, fresh and not too sweet, the sour fruits perfectly balanced by the fluffy cream. "Wow," you exclaim involuntarily. "This is so good. I love it." "I'm glad," Titania says quietly, finally taking a bite herself. Next is the lemonade. The glass is nice and cool against your hands as you take a big swig, tasting a hint of lemon and once again the floral aroma of the elderflower. You sigh contentedly, leaning back into the chair and prop up your arms behind your head. For a bit, you close your eyes and listen to the bird song, sitting next to Titania in quiet togetherness. After a while, you hear the rattling of dishes. As you glance to your right, you see that Titania placed the tray on the grassy floor and is now shuffling pastel-colored tarot cards. "We are going to do an easy spread," she explains. "Only 5 cards. First, we need a central card for you to know what this reading is about." She closes her eyes briefly and then starts shuffling again, until a card springs out and lands right in her lap. "The 8 of Pentacles in reverse," she reads, sounding very interested. "So this is for when you lack motivation or ambition and lose focus by being stuck in your daily life. Now we are going to draw a card for the Earth position that is going to tell us how aspects from the physical world are impacting your central card." Soon, another card falls on the table, and Titania puts it on top of the first. The 3 of Swords. You might be going through a rough time right now, and you are coping with a loss. You might feel lonely or rejected. Next is the Air card, telling us about spiritual aspects affecting your central card. This third card ends up to the right of your central card on the table. "The King of Swords," Titania declares, nodding along. "You are trying to deal with your situation in a calm and intellectual manner. You're trying to hold on to your authority." The Fire card is going to tell us which actions you need to take in order to manifest or change your outcome of the future. This time the cards dance through Titania's hands for a longer time. Her brow is furrowed slightly in concentration. But then a card skips, doesn't fully turn, and Titania catches it with her right hand. "The 3 of Pentacles," she says excitedly. "Teamwork will be necessary to move on and create something new. Look at the people in your life who have different skills or beliefs from you." Our last card is the Water card, and it will tell us what emotions are going to fuel that change. Let us get one card. A card flies onto the table, and Titania gasps. "The Tower!" There will be some explosive emotions because the situation feels out of your control and something in your life is changing. But because of these outer circumstances, you will have no choice but to push through. What's most important, though, is that you don't become passive and put yourself in the role of a victim. You need to stay active and work through your emotions. Titania looks at you and you feel like she is seeing something in you that you haven't shared in a long time. You close your eyes to reflect on which situation in your life fits with the advice she just gave you. The sun sinks slower and slower as you sit before the den, connected to the nature of the forest, surrounded by the smell of roses and the call of the cuckoo. You doze off for a bit. As you wake, golden light is filtering through the treetops, and it must be much later in the afternoon. Titania stands before you, one hand gently touching your arm, which must be what has woken you up. The hat she was wearing earlier is missing. "It's getting late," she says softly. "We should get going if we want to attend the bonfire." You stand up and stretch languidly, lifting your hands above your head, and extend your fingers, breathing in deeply. "What kind of bonfire?" you ask, while Titania loops her arm through the handle of her basket that she must have fetched while you were sleeping. All the people in the forest organized a collective bonfire for the solstice to welcome the summer. We are going to eat and drink together and perform the rituals we prepared. Let's go." Together you walk around the hill where a great oak tree rises into the sky, and behind it you can see a fixed path, a dirt road that runs parallel to the small wooden door functioning as the main entrance to the other side of the cave. You have to tread over some shrubbery before you reach the plain ground, and then Titania leads you to the left. The trail is broad enough so you can walk side by side comfortably, as the sun is nearing the horizon slowly but surely, the light getting warmer while the forest gets darker. You can smell the fire before you see it, smoke tickling your nose, and then something bright appearing between the trees in front of you. The closer you get, the more details you can make out. A huge bonfire burns on a way crossing that is located on a clearing, short grass surrounding the fire that is lit on a pyre fixated with stones. A few figures with flower wreaths in their hair stand around it, most of them wearing robes in red, orange or yellow, glowing in the remaining light of the golden hour. "Everyone has contributed something flammable to set up the bonfire," Titania explains, as the two of you approach them. "Hello everyone," she calls out, and heads turn. Stepping forward into the glint of the fire, you can feel its heat on your face and hands immediately. Titania introduces you to the other spectators, and they greet you with warm, friendly smiles. There's a man with shaggy black hair and narrow eyes called Cosmos. A pretty young woman with short hair and bright eyes introduces herself as Loa, and next to her stands Selma with long white hair and a welcoming smile on her lips. She hands Titania and you each an intricately woven wreath made of mugwort. "Here, for your heads." You put it on eagerly to match the rest of the group, and Titania pulls you along so you can meet even more people. There's a Seisha, whose glasses and pulled back hair give her the appearance of a kind teacher, and Elowen with short hair and a bright smile, who both pull you into a hug to greet you. The atmosphere is so calm and open that you feel secure the whole time Titania is going around and introducing you to everyone. "Let's eat first," Titania suggests, and the others laugh. "You always act like you're famished," Cosmos says. "Because I am," Titania whines, and he giggles. Picnic blankets and folding chairs are already spread around the bonfire. You glance into Titania's basket as she puts it down next to a cozy-looking wool blanket, and beyond the herb bundle she made earlier, it contains bread, an empty jar, a jar with an herb blend in it, a bottle of red berry wine, paper, and a pen. As you look around, the others are also unpacking food and drinks. There's lentil soup and meat, cookies and cider, strawberries and honey. You don't hold back and stuff yourself with the delicious food until you are full. Next to you sits Selma making small talk. Did you know that if you never attend the bonfire, you will never get married? Noticing your confused facial expression, Titania laughs. No one's forced to get married, though. But if you want to get married, going to one won't hurt. With a nod, you shove the information in the back of your mind. You know a few people who would be interested in that. While the last rays of the sunset reach you between the tree stems, the witches start holding things over the fire, charging their spell work with the solstice's fiery energy. Most of the guests have their own herb bundle, and Titania encourages you to pick up the one she made. Let's hold it over the fire together. She smiles, and you grab the bundle with your right hand and she with her left. And then you hold it as close to the fire as possible without risking to burn it. Close your eyes, Titania says. Let's imagine how the energy of the fire is gonna fuel this herb bundle. You comply and close your eyes, now only hearing the crackling of the fire and feeling the heat move through the air. The others are also holding pendulums, card decks, and many different tools over the fire. When the items are all stored away again, Laura asks, "Did everyone bring their paper and pen?" Nods and mumble of acknowledgement come from the group, and she continues, "Then let's start our little ritual to draw in abundance into our lives. First, write down something on your paper that you want to welcome into your life. Imagine your life with this wish while you write. Imagine what kind of person you are under these conditions." Titania hands you a paper and lets you use her pen first. You close your eyes to find something you want to add to your life. Once you think of what you want, you write it down on the paper, visualizing your life and how it would be if you had it. Before the dark ink dries on the paper, you already pass the pen to Titania, who starts writing immediately. "Does everyone have their paper ready?" Laura asks, and as everyone nods, she continues, "Now let's all grab some of the herb blends so we can amplify the ritual." You grab a handful from the jar Titania brought for you, and the others are sharing a powder Selma made. When everybody is ready, Laura counts to 3, and you toss the herbs into the fire that sizzles and throws out sparks. Now focus on what you want to draw into your life. Focus all your energy into your piece of paper. Let's throw it all in together. And with that, you deliver your wish to the flames that incinerate it immediately, turning it into ash and smoke that rises up into the sky. On your left, Titania's small soft hand grabs yours, and on your other side, Cosmos reaches for you, his palm bigger and rougher. This way, you form a circle around the bonfire that is now burning low. You don't know where the movement starts, but soon enough, everyone is jumping around in a circle, arms swinging back and forth, and someone is singing. An involuntary laugh tears from your mouth because the motion of the whole group feels so free and detached. You can't stop your laughter, and the others join in. Only once the sun sets completely and the fire burned out does the circle dissolve, the first attendees saying goodbye to go home. "The last thing we should do is collect some of the ashes," Titania says, handing you her empty jar. I can use this for fertility rituals throughout the year, she explains, and crouches down next to the remnants of the bonfire, very carefully scooping up some of the ashes, avoiding possible amber and filling it into the glass meticulously. There, she declares as she screws the jar shut. This is it for today. I had a lot of fun. Yeah, me too, you reply, suppressing a yawn. The way back to Titania's den is a blur. You feel so drowsy that you stumble through the darkness with Titania holding your hand. You vaguely notice entering the cave through the front door and kicking off your shoes. You are tired, Titania says, smoothing a hand over your head. Lay down on the bed for a bit. She guides you toward the soft mattress, where you plop down with drooping eyes, barely being able to answer. Titania lies your head down onto the pillow, and the second your back touches the bed, you are out, like a light. You become aware of my voice again. I will now count to 5, and once I reach the number 5, you will fall asleep. 1. You feel a comfortable and cozy warmth spread through your entire body. 2. Your muscles relax completely. 3. You feel safe and full of love. 4. Your mind is quiet and at ease. 5. You drift off into a sound and restful sleep. You are safe here in my witch's den.